Most men are blind to the subtle currents that govern desire. They chase, perform, and hope, wasting their energy in the theater of the obvious. But desire, true desire, is never about effort. It is about control, perception, and strategic influence. Today, you will learn 15 forbidden hacks that bend a woman's will, straight from the hidden playbook of Machiavelli. These are not casual dating tips. These are psychological weapons, tested over centuries, refined through observation of power, attraction, and human behavior. By the end, you won't just understand desire, you will command it. Hack 1. Master the calm. Emotions are contagious, yet most men broadcast theirs like a neon sign: anxious, needy, desperate. Every twitch, every flinch, every rushed word screams insecurity, and women notice, often subconsciously, before you even realize it. Calmness, on the other hand, is a weapon disguised as serenity. It signals authority, control, and security without a single word. Imagine this. She tries to provoke jealousy, drops subtle tests, or pushes boundaries to see your reaction. The average man erupts, reacts too quickly, fumbles, every response revealing the cracks in his armor. You, however, remain still, measured, silent, observant. She repeats the test, varying the approach, adjusting her tactics, expecting a spark, a crack, a visible sign of weakness. Nothing. Your calm does not falter. She feels it instinctively. This man is untouchable, immovable, yet undeniably present. Your composure becomes magnetic. Simultaneously, a safe harbor she wants to retreat to and a challenge she wants to conquer. Desire, tension, and fascination grow naturally around the unshakable, the steady, the enigmatic. Mastering calm is not just self-control. It is the art of turning yourself into a silent authority, a psychological force that compels attention, respect, and longing without uttering a single word. Hack 2. Controlled absence. Absence is the silent sculptor of desire, but only when wielded like a weapon. Without strategy, absence is invisible. It fades into irrelevance, leaving no imprint. Picture this. She messages constantly, craving attention, expecting instant replies, testing your availability as if it defines her value. Most men collapse under this pressure, responding immediately, giving pieces of themselves like they are disposable. You do not. You respond selectively, slowly, deliberately, letting each message arrive on your terms. In the spaces between your presence, her mind begins to fill the void, not with boredom, but with curiosity, intrigue, and imagined scenarios of your life, your freedom, your untouchable world. She starts to chase, unconsciously pulled into a gravity you control, unaware she is dancing to the rhythm you set. Scarcity is not merely physical distance. It is the illusion that your attention, your energy, your very time are treasures, rare and valuable, never to be taken for granted. Controlled absence is subtle, almost invisible to her consciousness, yet it shapes behavior at a deeper level. It creates tension, desire, and an almost magnetic pull, making you the axis around which her thoughts, fantasies, and emotions begin to revolve. This is not manipulation. It is psychological architecture. Every delayed reply, every selective engagement is a silent declaration. Your world is yours, and she is only invited into it on your terms. Hack 3. Mirror, don't chase. Most men mistake eagerness for attraction. They chase relentlessly, plead for attention, compromise their energy, and reveal their desire openly, an open invitation for rejection. True influence, however, does not come from pursuit. It comes from reflection. You mirror subtly and strategically, not slavishly. Observe her energy, her tone, her gestures, the tempo of her speech. When she laughs, you smile, not exaggeratedly, but just enough to echo her joy. When she teases, you respond with measured playfulness, never overcommitting, never showing the depth of your investment. Mirroring creates the illusion of compatibility, a psychological resonance that draws her in without forcing it. She feels she is leading, testing, initiating, in control of the interaction, but all the while, you are orchestrating the rhythm. Every glance, every response, every carefully mirrored reaction is a calculated nudge in the direction you desire. This is invisible manipulation. She believes she is making choices freely, yet the architecture of her behavior is subtly shaped by your presence. In this dance, you are both participant and composer, guiding the flow without ever appearing to touch the strings. Master this, and desire will follow naturally as she subconsciously aligns with your calm authority and silent command. Hack 4. Strategic vulnerability. Strength alone can feel sterile, predictable, even boring. Perfection is a mask that repels curiosity. True attraction thrives in the paradox of power and imperfection. This is where strategic vulnerability becomes your weapon. But beware. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a carefully curated performance of humanity. Reveal glimpses of yourself that spark intrigue, empathy, or admiration, without ever eroding the authority you hold. A story of past struggle, a subtle admission of disappointment, or a fleeting fear, each shared with precision, creates depth. She senses there is more beneath the surface, a hidden world she longs to explore. Most men overshare, dumping insecurities in an unfiltered torrent that repels desire. You do the opposite. You allow her to see enough to be drawn in, but never so much that the illusion of your untouchable strength fades. In this delicate balance, vulnerability becomes a magnet, not a surrender. It whispers, "I am human, yet untouchable. I have depth, yet I control it." The result is subtle, irresistible. She is intrigued, compelled, and unconsciously tethered to you, not because you demanded it, but because you revealed just enough humanity to make the power behind it even more alluring. Hack 5. Frame control. Every interaction carries an invisible frame, a lens through which reality is interpreted. Most men, unaware of this, surrender the frame the moment a woman challenges, questions, or even casually remarks. They react defensively, anxious to explain, justify, or please, immediately ceding authority. True mastery lies in frame control, the subtle art of defining the rules of reality while she remains unaware she is being guided. It is not about force or aggression. It is about quiet dominance, like water shaping stone over time. When she questions your intentions, do not stumble, do not over-explain. Reframe effortlessly. Redirect challenges with calm humor, with a question that nudges her perspective, or with a simple statement that subtly shifts the narrative. Every gesture, pause, and tone reinforces your lens. Your reality becomes hers without her realizing it. This is invisible influence. It is the difference between chasing validation and bending perception. Frame control is the quiet architecture of desire. It makes you the standard against which everything else is measured, a gravitational force she orbits without ever realizing. Once mastered, interactions stop being negotiations. They become performances in which you lead, she follows, and reality itself dances to the rhythm of your calm, commanding presence. Hack 6. Mystery as a weapon. Mystery is one of the most potent magnets of desire. Oversharing, by contrast, is a slow killer. It exposes every corner of your mind, leaving nothing for her to explore. Women are naturally wired to fill gaps, to imagine, to construct stories from the fragments you allow them to see. This is where subtlety becomes your weapon. Reveal less, hint more. A fleeting mention of a hidden talent, a story of a daring adventure, or a casual allusion to your freedom and independence. Each is a spark that ignites curiosity and obsession. Mystery does not scream for attention. It whispers, pulling her in, compelling her brain to chase what it cannot fully comprehend. The less she knows, the more her mind works, weaving fantasies around you, making your presence addictive. In Machiavellian terms, concealment is power. Every unshared detail, every unanswered question, every measured silence constructs an invisible architecture of desire, keeping her tethered to your enigma. When you master mystery, you are not merely attractive, you are unforgettable, a puzzle she cannot stop returning to, because the unknown always outshines the known. Hack 7. Silent dominance. Words are cheap. They can be empty, performative, or desperate. True magnetism, however, comes from action, presence, and the quiet assertion of authority. Silent dominance is the art of communicating power without a single boast, without drawing attention to effort. It lives in composure, in decisiveness, in the measured way you occupy space. Enter a room with purpose. Your steps, your posture, your gaze, all silently declare your significance. Speak sparingly. Let each word carry weight, but never explain, never justify. Act meaningfully, then withdraw, leaving a subtle void that draws her attention like gravity. She will unconsciously evaluate your authority, your control, your unspoken value, without even realizing it. Silent dominance is a psychological force. It commands respect, fascination, and subtle admiration simply by existing. It is the quiet rhythm behind the chaos of attention, the calm center around which desire orbits. When mastered, it renders your presence unforgettable, your absence even more compelling, and your influence unchallenged. Hack 8. Push-pull dynamics. Attachment thrives on tension, on the subtle push and pull that keeps desire alive. Too much warmth without distance smothers interest. Too much withdrawal without return kills it entirely. The art of push-pull is the rhythm of obsession, the emotional ebb and flow that keeps her tethered to your presence while never fully satisfied. Imagine giving attention in measured doses, a message that intrigues, a compliment that acknowledges without overcommitting, a presence that excites without clinging. Then, strategically withdraw. Let her feel the absence, sense the void, and experience the itch of wanting. Her mind begins to invest, crafting scenarios, replaying interactions, and wondering what she might have lost, or might yet gain. Timing is everything. Too early, and she disengages, sensing predictability. Too late, and she drifts, curiosity fading into indifference. Push-pull is a psychological lever, subtle yet devastatingly effective, wielded by few men who understand the invisible mechanics of desire. Master this rhythm, and you orchestrate emotional tension, fascination, and longing, making your presence irresistible and your absence unforgettable. Hack 9. Social proof. Signals. Desire is rarely rational. It is guided by perception. Humans, especially women, are hardwired to track social validation, often subconsciously. You do not need to announce your value. It will reveal itself through subtle signals. Imagine this. Respected friends greet you warmly. Admirers glance your way, or others defer to your opinion in a conversation. These cues, small and unspoken, silently communicate status, influence, and desirability. The trick is subtlety. Let the world display your worth without you ever claiming it. Bragging or overemphasizing undermines the effect, turning potential admiration into suspicion. Influence multiplies when society signals it for you. When others implicitly confirm your value, your presence becomes magnetic. You do not assert dominance loudly. You allow the environment, the people, and the interactions around you to whisper it. Social proof is the quiet echo of power, a psychological amplifier that makes you more attractive, more desirable, and almost impossible to ignore. Hack 10. Unpredictable energy. Predictability is the silent killer of curiosity and desire. When a man becomes too consistent, too easy to read, the thrill fades. True fascination thrives on controlled unpredictability. Slight, deliberate variations in your mood, tone, availability, or even your interests create tiny sparks of uncertainty that your mind will obsessively analyze. She begins to anticipate your next move, investing attention, emotion, and mental energy in trying to decipher the pattern, an involuntary dopamine-driven cycle of intrigue. The key is balance. Too much unpredictability breeds anxiety, too little breeds boredom. The art is in subtlety. A text that arrives at an unexpected moment, a teasing remark that catches her off guard, or a mood that shifts just enough to be noticed but never threatening, all craft an aura of enigmatic vitality. This intermittent energy is a psychological magnet. It sharpens desire, commands attention, and ensures that she remains emotionally hooked. Master unpredictability, and you are no longer just present in her life. You are the pulse she can't ignore, the fluctuation her mind is compelled to track, and the tension she secretly craves. Hack 11. Frame the scarcity. Scarcity is one of the most subtle yet powerful magnets of desire. Constant availability erodes value. Predictability breeds indifference. But scarcity is not a threat, nor is it manipulation. It is principle. Make your attention rare, your presence selective, and your time undeniably precious. Do not announce it. Do not justify it. Simply live it. She notices instinctively, even if she cannot articulate why. Her mind begins to chase, filling the void with speculation, curiosity, and longing. Every delayed response, every absence at just the right moment, converts your presence into a psychological commodity, rare, coveted, and emotionally charged. Scarcity transforms attention into obsession, not through demand, but by signaling that your life, your energy, and your focus are valuable beyond casual access. When mastered, it ensures that she does not just want you. She feels she might lose something she can never replace. Scarcity is invisible influence made tangible, a force that shapes desire silently, irresistibly, and permanently. Hack 12. Subtle teasing. Teasing is far more than mere playfulness. It is a psychological lever that subtly shapes desire. The right tease challenges assumptions, gently pokes at insecurities, and tests boundaries without crossing into offense. It creates a tension that the mind cannot ignore, compelling curiosity and emotional investment. But this is a delicate art. Done poorly, teasing alienates, provokes resentment, or disengages interest entirely. The mastery lies in balance, a dance of slight discomfort wrapped in undeniable charm. Reward her subtly, acknowledge her wins, and alternate these moments with playful challenges that keep her intrigued. Each teasing interaction becomes a push-pull of attention, a rhythm that stimulates desire at a subconscious level. Over time, this subtle interplay hooks her attention, making interactions with you mentally stimulating, emotionally charged, and irresistibly compelling. Teasing, when executed with precision, transforms ordinary communication into a silent game of power, attraction, and psychological influence. Hack 13. Emotional anchoring. Humans are guided far more by emotion than by logic. Facts fade, feelings linger. Emotional anchoring is the art of becoming inseparable from powerful experiences, fun, relief, excitement, and adventure. When you consistently evoke these emotions in her presence, she begins to unconsciously associate them with you. You are no longer just a person. You become a trigger for sensation, a catalyst for experiences she craves. A spontaneous laugh, a shared thrill, a moment of escape, all tie her mental and emotional landscape to your existence. Over time, this creates a psychological gravity. She seeks not just your company, but the emotional states you produce. Attachment deepens, desire intensifies, and obsession forms, not through words or declarations, but through the subtle, persistent power of emotion. Master emotional anchoring, and you transform from a transient figure in her life into an irreplaceable force she cannot forget or resist. Hack 14. Avoid validation traps. Desire collapses the moment a man seeks approval. Validation, dressed up as politeness or charm, is actually submission in disguise. It signals need, uncertainty, and weakness. True authority never asks to be acknowledged. It is silent, confident, and unyielding. Refuse to plead, justify, or over-explain. Your power lies in quiet self-assurance, in the unshakable knowledge of your own value. When you withhold approval, when you resist the urge to reward her attention immediately, she begins to chase your influence without even realizing it. Your refusal is magnetic. It signals that your world, your energy, and your presence are precious commodities, not freely given. The power of no, of deliberate restraint, outweighs any act of generosity. It shapes desire at a deep, subconscious level, compelling her to invest, to strategize, and ultimately, to value you far beyond what words or effort alone could achieve. Hack 15. The exit illusion. The ultimate psychological hack is the exit illusion. Desire intensifies when availability becomes uncertain, when presence is never guaranteed. But this is not about threats, ultimatums, or coercion. It is a subtle, almost invisible possibility. Hint at withdrawal in ways she may only sense subconsciously, a pause in engagement, a selective absence, a calm detachment from outcomes. Every fleeting possibility of loss triggers focus, attention, and emotional investment. Her mind begins to calculate, to strategize, to anticipate your next move. She chases not because you demanded it, but because the architecture of desire you've built leaves her no choice but to orbit your presence. This is Machiavellian mastery, the power of absence wielded with finesse, the art of creating longing while remaining untouchable. She invests, she obsesses, she desires, not because of manipulation, but because you have become the axis around which her emotional world turns. The exit illusion transforms ordinary interaction into a psychological force, one that commands fascination, loyalty, and a subtle but irresistible devotion. These are not mere tricks. They are timeless principles of influence, distilled from centuries of observation in power, desire, and human behavior. Most men remain blind, trapped in a theater of chasing, pleading, and performing for approval, never realizing the forces at play. You, however, now hold the map to fascination, authority, and control. Knowledge becomes power, desire becomes a tool, and mastery over these dynamics allows you to shape the world around you subtly, yet irrevocably. Every interaction, every glance, every pause, every silence becomes a lever of influence. The difference between you and the rest is simple. They react, you orchestrate. They seek validation, you command attention. They stumble blindly, while you move like a shadow through the desires and emotions of others. Most men will never see it. You do. And that awareness, applied with precision and patience, transforms not just attraction, but the very way the world perceives you. The game is no longer external. It exists in your presence, your choices, your mastery of the invisible forces that pull people toward you. Walk forward with calm, with strategy, and with the quiet knowledge that fascination, once awakened, cannot easily be silenced.